Nigeria's major cities of Lagos, Abuja and Port Harcourt are currently facing fuel scarcity as queues have returned to petrol stations. Although officials of the Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority are yet to speak on the situation, Arise sources attributed this to a reported importation of contaminated fuel by a cargo ship which had forced a directive to halt the sales of the bad fuel. One of the independent petroleum marketers who confirmed the development to Arise News said marketers have been advised not to sell the product, especially those that loaded their supplies from the affected vessel. There's an estimated 100 million litres of the contaminated fuel in circulation, and those familiar with the matter say that it may take a while to recall the bad product. Some consumers have taken to social media to lament that their vehicle engines have been badly damaged by the contaminated fuel. And joining us now from the Lagos mainland for an update on the fuel crisis is Arise correspondent Oba Adeoye. And here on the island is Arise correspondent Adefemi Akisanya. Oba and Adefemi, welcome to the program. Bring us up to speed. Let's start with you, Oba. Tell us what's going on where you are.
Right now I am in Ikeja, very close to the computer village along Oba Akran Avenue. And here is the fuel station here. And you can see a crowd behind me. Most of them are, struggling to get the product in a jerry can. And just moments ago, before you joined me, the fuel attendant, that any moment from now, that the supply, they will run out of supply. And you can see a little scuffle here. Even the motorists are unable to buy fuel here. Just a few of them are getting the opportunity to buy fuel into their cars, as a crowd of people here with the jerry cans are not creating a space for that. And in other places that we have visited this morning, the situation is almost the same thing, just that in some of those places we don't have as much jerry cans as we have right here with us, while in some other filling stations there is no activity at all. The stations are under lock and keys.
Adefemi, let's come to you since you're on the island. What is the situation like where you are?
Thank you very much, Hawa. Well, here's the thing. Mid-afternoon, early afternoon, on Lagos Island, you're definitely going to see traffic. But what we've been seeing over the past 24 hours is greater traffic than ever before. So you've got a lot more people on the streets trying to navigate between the queues of cars that are waiting to fuel up their vehicles and then the other vehicles that are just going about their business. So here it is on the island. There's definitely a huge feeling of discontent amongst drivers. We're stood outside the Total station on our lower road, not too far from our office, and you can see that it is totally circulated by traffic, cars on either end of its entrance trying to get in to these gates that are closed here so that they can fuel up their vehicles. Now what they've been trying to do quite successfully, I have to say, is take it little by little, whereas in maybe in other petrol stations you'd have seen huge queues leading into the station itself. What they've been able to do is take a few cars from either side at a time, which reduces the amount of cars inside the station at one time. But it is still quite a serious situation. People I've been speaking to saying that they've had to wait in their cars for hours. Just yesterday I had to wait for upwards of 2 hours in order to fuel the car I was in. So that gives you an idea just how far spread this issue is. Now, I wasn't able to hear what Oba said, and I'm not sure what the situation on the mainland is, but it is definitely here on the island for now the second day, quite a tense situation. What we've been hearing, if you can see this woman over there, you can see that she's quite upset that she has not been able to get petrol. And what we've been hearing, and what has been reported from last night into this morning is that the cause of this scarcity has been effect of a recall of petroleum products. You mentioned in your introduction there around a shipload full of petroleum products have been compromised. It's been reported, and that could be the actual trigger to what we're seeing on the streets here. I will try and speak to a few motorists just to see if we can get their feeling on what they've had to experience so far and hear in their own words what it's been like for them trying to get petrol. Good afternoon, sir. Or good morning even. Oh no, it is good afternoon. Tell us, you're in the queue for petrol. Tell us how long you've been waiting. Is this your first day trying to get fuel? What's the experience like?
Yes, it's 9 o'clock. trying to get the fuel. But right now, about 4 vehicles in front of me before I get to the place. It's very hard for me to get it anyway, but for sure I will get it.
Is this the only station that you've tried in the past 2 days?
Not the only station. The others, there is a lot of queue in other, but this seems to be the easiest one for me to get. That's why I have to be in this queue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that's definitely a similar story with many other motorists, all of them just trying to have to compartmentalize their day. Many of them had to write off their days yesterday in the desire to get fuel, and that's definitely been the case today. As I said, there is a successful amount of crowd control here, where just a few cars at a time are allowed to come in to the stations, but it is, of course, definitely not an ideal situation. You heard the gentleman there say that he has been waiting since 9 a.m. It's now after 12, so you can put into perspective waiting 3.5 hours for petrol is not an ideal situation, most especially in a country like Nigeria with rich oil resources and petroleum product resources. So it is quite a difficult, intense situation on the ground here, Hawa.
Well, Oba, we would like to know what effect the long queues are having on traffic on the mainland. And then apart from that, what effect is it having on the cost of using public transport? Oba, can you tell us what the traffic situation is like?
I didn't get that, but I think you're talking about the long queues.
I'm talking about the effect of the long queues on the traffic situation in Ikeja and the effect on the cost of using public transport.
Yes, you trust Lagos commercial drivers. Some of them have hiked the fares as much as 50% in some areas. But if around town, we can see long queues of traffic here and there, and we can see some young men selling the product in jerry cans by the roadside, going for as high as 300 naira per liter, 400 naira per liter, depending on where and from whom you are buying. But the traffic is moving in most parts of the mainland here, but in some parts it's a very slow traffic because of the spillover of the queues from filling stations that are located by the roadside. And particularly in this place, you can see a lot of people are struggling to buy this product in their jerry cans because, according to them, there has been a kind of blackout in this area in Ikeja and environ, and they need to power their generators. You know, it's a commercial center. A lot of them rely on power for their businesses, and because there is no public power supply, they have to rely on power generators, and to do that, they need fuel for those power generators, and that's why they are here right now. But traffic managers are having a difficult time in some parts of the Lagos mainland trying to control traffic. One wonders, when there's fuel scarcity, you find a lot of vehicles on the road. How do they get their fuel? And of course, what do they rely on as a source of their fuel? And I think I answered that question earlier, that some people are already engaging in some black market activities, selling the product for as high as 300 naira per liter and 400 naira per liter in some parts of Lagos mainland. But the marketers that are affected by the contaminated fuel, according to the NNPC, the one that contains sulfur, are not selling the product at all, as their stations have been locked down.